In a world where every studio attempts to cash in on the multiverse, only one will produce a worthwhile film. And yeah, turns out that studio's DC. Who'da thunk? But in all seriousness, the multiverse is the latest trend sweeping Hollywood, even expanding beyond the comic book genre with Everything Everywhere All at Once dominating the Oscars this year. But the reality is, up until now, these multiverse films have been exceptionally convoluted, be it with half-baked scripts, creative differences between studios and directors, or even just various sequences being strung together without actually telling a complete story. And while The Flash is far from the best film of all time, it's not even DC's best, it is the best multiverse film yet. Whereas previous multiverse attempts have had messy narratives, The Flash keeps things simple. Barry Allen travels back in time to save his mom, and in doing so finds himself trapped in an alternate universe. Pair this with the loss of his powers, plus a team up with a younger version of himself, and we've got a Back to the Future-esque premise that's still its own story, with a clear beginning, middle, and end. More than that, it's a surprisingly emotional story that's got real heart and allows us to watch Barry come into his own. This is a story about sacrifice, but it never feels disingenuous. That's to say, we believe the choices being made. They aren't just boxes that need to be checked off. So by the film's end, Barry grows as a character and becomes the hero he's meant to be. Now, having a structured story doesn't automatically equate to an enjoyable experience. Fortunately, this story is also well balanced. In addition to heartfelt moments, it's also action-packed, funny, and even a little bit raunchy. Not to mention, there's tried and true fan service, but not to the point that it bogs down the rest of the film. We get Batfleck for a couple scenes, a Wonder Woman cameo, and the return of Zod. But obviously, Michael Keaton's Batman is the true standout, and it's his iteration of the character that helps Barry track down Supergirl in hopes of defeating Zod. Admittedly, the film's VFX are a little wonky, some of them being stylistic choices, but at the end of the day, this isn't anything out of the ordinary for the comic book genre. What this film gets right is the concept of the multiverse, with Keaton's Batman giving quite possibly the best analogy. You've got some timelines that run together, others that go every which way, and certain moments in time that are inevitable intersections. And this is Barry's central conflict. In every universe, his mom has to die for things to naturally play out. It's specifically because the film has just the right balance of everything that the performances are solid across the board. Ezra Miller does a phenomenal job of making both versions of Barry feel like completely individual characters. They nail the delivery, the reactions, and their comedic timing is top-notch. But what really sells each Barry as being unique is seeing our Barry realize he has to let go of his mom, whereas Barry too continues to struggle with that loss. Truthfully, this is Ezra Miller's film, and they knock it out of the park. Of course, Keaton is still very much Batman. He picks up right where he left off without missing a beat. And Sasha Calle's Supergirl is also a great interpretation, even if only for this one film. What honestly sets this film apart from previous multiverse projects, though, is it's a full-blown celebration of the multiverse, instead of a specific character. This is a Flash film, as much as it's a Batman or Supergirl film. Be that as it may, Barry never takes a backseat in his own story, unlike other multiverse films we've seen. And loss isn't shoehorned into the plot, it is the plot, when compared to other multiverse films. Beyond that, we get to see the DC that never was, and the DC that always will be. It's the past, as much as it's the future. What's more, this film is an open invitation to explore infinite universes, and with James Gunn coming on board to course-correct DC, this allows a soft reboot of the DCU to feel more justifiable. Ultimately, The Flash is a fun ride that commits to telling a good story first, allowing everything else to fall into place organically, and in turn proving a good multiverse film can be done, leaving the rest in the dust.